Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the Nootropic Reviewer, and during this video I'm going to share with you how I stay energetic all day long, because it's taken a little bit of time, but fortunately I found a number of nootropics that I stick to, as well as lifestyle strategies that really work for me. First things first, if you're somebody that is really suffering with energy levels, before looking at nootropics, you may want to actually just look at getting a whole blood test, get a whole panel done, because of course it's going to be key for you to confirm that you're in good health and that your endocrine system is working 100% as good as it can be. And then of course if anything is like off, like your thyroid's low or your vitamin B is low, then you'll be able to have a quick fix to that, and then maybe your energy levels will actually be solved. Like that was the case for me. I realized that I had very low thyroid levels and very low testosterone levels at some point, which is why I was put on meds for thyroid and testosterone. The testosterone I was able to ditch, but the thyroid meds are just critical for me, and they keep me nice and healthy. I've not had any issues with my side effects, and I'm just getting my thyroid checked every 6 months or so to make sure that my thyroid levels are, of course, within a normal range. And with respect to nootropics, I have tried so many. Don't rely on caffeine. As you all know, with caffeine, yes, it's the best nootropic, best supplement you can take to boost energy levels, not only physically or mentally, but it comes along with that energy crash. And don't forget that if you take too much caffeine, when you take some time off of it afterwards, very often you will experience withdrawals, which happens with so many people. They're used to taking 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day, and then they get off of it and they experience really bad headaches. So some of the ones which have really worked for me, and I'll talk in depth about, are going to be number 1, L-Tyrosine, number 2, Rhodiola rosea. Third would be Bacopa monnieri, and fourth would be pretty much any pre-workout product, because pre-workout products have more than one ingredient in them, and we'll get to that. The first, of course, would be L-Tyrosine, and L-Tyrosine is great in that it's naturally occurring. It's an amino acid that's found in chicken breast. It's also found in egg whites. It's really going to help to boost your energy levels up. Very low on side effects. Some people experience headaches, although even that's a bit rare. Some people experience anxiety, and you can usually feel it. I'm talking you can ingest 500 milligrams up to 1 gram of L-Tyrosine in a serving, and within 30 minutes you should feel energetic, you should feel alert. It's kind of similar to caffeine in the way that it makes you like mentally aroused. You're just awake, you're stimulated, you're motivated to get things done, but it doesn't give you like that same physical energy that you get with caffeine. But the pro to that is that with L-Tyrosine, you can take it closer to bed and get away with it, whereas with caffeine, I wouldn't recommend anyone takes like caffeine within 6 hours of sleeping. With L-Tyrosine, let's say if you sleep at 10, you can still get away with taking L-Tyrosine somewhere around 6 o'clock p.m. And there's some research as well showing that it boosts dopamine so significantly that you may want to ingest something for serotonin as well to help like buffer that down. But from my experience, it's been really good. I've been using it every single day for many years, probably 6 or 7 years, with the exception of like holidays off or time maybe when I'm not working out. But what I really like L-Tyrosine is pre-workout. I'm talking like 30 minutes prior to working out, especially when you mix it with caffeine. You're going to get energetic, you're going to get aroused, and the way that comes into play when it comes to like being energetic throughout the whole day is that, let's face it, if you have a great workout, ideally first thing in the morning, that works for me. What happens is you're going to feel energetic throughout the whole course of the day. So then the priority becomes having a great workout. So what can we do to have a great workout? We can take some supplements beforehand, things that we know are going to help, and L-Tyrosine being a very solid ingredient. But the other way in which you can use L-Tyrosine is, let's say you're facing a little bit of an energy slump in the later portion of the day and you want to ingest something, maybe you don't want to take caffeine. L-Tyrosine is perfect, and you'll more likely feel it working when you're fasted or within meals. So I don't recommend you take it with a meal. Like, of course you can, but if you really want to get the most out of like the whole L-Tyrosine experience, what that would look like is wait about 90 minutes from your previous meal and then take L-Tyrosine, and you'll find like you just wake up and you're ready to go. It's a great feeling. I like taking 1 gram pre-workout, and if I use it later in the day, I like taking 500 milligrams, sometimes 750 milligrams. You'll find that when you do go ahead and get it, typically the serving size will be either 500 milligrams or 750 milligrams. And if you don't feel a dose up to 1 gram, then you'll likely not really feel anything from taking 2 grams, so there's really no point. And moving on to the next nootropic, that's Rhodiola rosea. Rhodiola rosea, a little bit different than L-Tyrosine in the sense of L-Tyrosine is an amino acid. What Rhodiola rosea is actually a herb. It's an adaptogen, meaning it's a great supplement to take specifically for better handling stress, for building your capacity to tolerate more stress, and also how resilient you are when those times come that you're a little bit stressed but you need to move forward, because we of course have to move forward. Rhodiola rosea, really great. I don't like taking it first thing in the morning because I like to call a nap in a pill, because that's how it feels. There's really not much of a point, or for me anyway, using it first thing in the morning. Better off save it until the afternoon, early evening. Like for me, when I'm working really long days, one of the things that I absolutely need, like I need my Rhodiola rosea, where the heck is it, is my Rhodiola rosea, because it helps me to like just take a break. So let's say when I'm taking a break and I'm unplugging, which I do, I'll typically do like a meditation, or I'll take a nap, or I'll walk my dog. I must as well have my nootropics because they're going to help me to clear my mind, help to energize me, and rhodiola rosea is really good for doing that. It doesn't like stimulate you, it doesn't make you feel off. It really just feels like a reset in all kinds of ways, because with rhodiola rosea, how it's similar to a nap is, if you notice, like, you know, you go for a short nap, very often it suppresses your appetite. Well, rhodiola rosea does the exact same thing. You'll find that sometimes you'll ingest it and you will not feel hungry. And the typical serving size for rhodiola rosea is as well about 500 milligrams, sometimes 300 milligrams. That's the way you may want to start taking it. One capsule a day is good. I've personally found that I can get away with taking it every single day. So the manner in which I'm taking it is something like a 2 months on followed by 2 weeks off. And as far as side effects, I've not heard of any. I've not personally experienced any. If anything, with rhodiola rosea, it can make you a little bit alert before sleeping, like within an hour of sleeping, for example. But if it's several hours before sleeping, I wouldn't be concerned. And you know it's a great nootropic for performance. It's in like every single nootropic blend out there, from Quality of Mind. It's in Mind Lab Pro. And if you look at Nootropics Depot, there's several versions of rhodiola rosea. My favorite being the minimum 3% salidroside. That's the one that I'm taking. Although I've used rhodiola rosea from all kinds of different vendors over the years. Like I've been using Nootropics 8, 9, maybe 10 years now. When I first came across paracetam, and rhodiola rosea has pretty much always been good to me. And if you look at examine.com, where they've done a really nice job presenting to you what research you can find on various nootropics, we can see just where rhodiola rosea helps. We can see cognition, fatigue, subjective well-being, attention, like I mentioned. Rhodiola rosea, it goes in my top 5 nootropics. If you'd like to learn more about my top 5 nootropics, watch this video over here. The next nootropic for maintaining high levels of energy throughout the whole course of the day is Bacopa monnieri. This one is also a herb similar to rhodiola rosea, and I'm taking it in also a very similar fashion. So when I'm taking my rhodiola rosea, I'm using Bacopa monnieri as well. I like that it really helps with the clear-mindedness. It also helps me with my memory and helps me with fatigue. And I find that I'm just in a much better mood. So it's one thing to be energetic throughout the whole course of the day, but it's not good being energetic and feel like you're grinding it out and feeling like you're forcing yourself to work. So I find that with Bacopa monnieri, I feel a little bit more fulfilled. I'm in a bit more of a peaceful state. I'm able to be calm. I'm able to be resourceful. And that's the way it may work for you. Although I must warn you, with Bacopa monnieri, very often you don't feel it immediately. Like with rhodiola rosea and L-Tyrosine, most often you do. For some people with those ones, they have to take a bit of time. With Bacopa monnieri, usually for people, it's about like 10 to 14 days of taking Bacopa monnieri once to twice a day for them to actually feel it. Maybe it's saturated in your system. For me, I consider myself like very sensitive to nootropics. Like everything seems to work with me. And with Bacopa monnieri, I take it, I feel very clear-minded. I didn't necessarily notice that my memory was better when I first started taking it. That was a benefit. I had to be a bit patient. But as far as like feeling relaxed, I feel it as soon as I take it. So the way that I'm typically using Bacopa monnieri is the same in which I'm using rhodiola rosea. I'm taking it twice a day, not in the morning. I'll wait until like the afternoon. So let's say, for example, come 2 o'clock and then come again at 6 o'clock p.m. That's when I'll take my Bacopa monnieri. I like taking a dosage of 300 milligrams, 500 milligrams. That's also common. 500 milligrams is a bit too much for me because with Bacopa monnieri, if you take too much, a common side effect is demotivation, which is obviously not what we want. So be aware of that when you first start taking it. Like, is it affecting your work ethic in a bad way, in a good way? How's your energy? Just be very mindful of like what you're feeling like, or maybe ask others, like, do they see any difference in you, in your behaviors, in the way you're operating throughout your day? And if you look at the research compiled on examine.com, just very positive stuff. We can see here decreased anxiety, depression, decreased instances of forgetting, improved working memory, and the list goes on, alertness and hedonia. So really solid nootropic. Though this nootropic is very hit and miss, I want to remind you, this video is about how I stay energetic all day long. It may not be the stack that will make you energetic all day long, but Bacopa really works for me, but for some people, makes them a little bit tired. So just be mindful for that. And next we're going to look at is a pre-workout product. And when I say pre-workout product, the great thing about pre-workout products is they're pretty much like designed to give you energy. So look at the ingredient profile. The few nootropics to look out for specifically would be caffeine. Look for some vitamin B. Look for creatine, look for beta-alanine, citrulline malate. L-tyrosine was the one I mentioned earlier. I find that with a lot of pre-workout products, they actually are a bit underdosed with L-tyrosine, so that's why I still prefer taking my L-tyrosine on the side. And most of them are pretty good. Let's face it, if you really do desire to have high energy levels throughout the whole course of the day, then you need to be getting your workouts in. I think like 4 times a week, maybe on the lower side, 5 times a week plus is good. I'm lifting weights 4 times a week. I'm doing cardio 3 times a week, but typically 2 of of those cardio sessions are like a brisk walk. They're not too intense, but they of course keep the blood flowing. I really believe this is the key to high energy levels. Like, I sell real estate and I have a brokerage of a number of agents, and I'm pushing and encouraging them to get their workout in, and then I see like their productivity skyrocket, their income skyrocket, and their energy levels are just great. So prioritize the workout. As far as the workout's concerned, what works for me is on my lifting days, I stick to compound lifts, I stick to free weights. I'm talking squats, bench press, deadlift, pull-ups. I like to stick to rep ranges of 6 reps to 10 reps. I rarely go over 12 reps. I think when you're going over 12 reps, then your goal really is like fat loss. And if your goal is fat loss, then you're going to be better off doing cardio instead. And guys, amazing things happen when you reduce your body fat levels. Like, if you have weight to lose, trust that after you lose that weight, you're going to feel a lot more energetic. You're going to feel better. But what's so is during that time when you're actually losing weight, because you're in a caloric deficit, you may not feel as energetic as you'd like to. You will feel a little bit tired. You will feel a bit low on energy at some point, especially at the ending stages of the diet. But then when you reintroduce those calories and start eating at maintenance, trust that you're going to feel a lot better and you're going to feel more energetic than ever. And with respect to diet, of course, to tell you the truth, I keep things very simple. I'm pretty boring in the way that I eat. I avoid processed foods. I eat fibrous carbohydrates. I stay away from simple carbohydrates. I like the slow digesting carbohydrates. I find that they're going to give me more energy levels and they're going to help to stabilize my blood sugar, so I don't have like these ups and downs during the day and feel irritable and feel hungry. And it works really well for me. But I do have like my cheat day, my carb day. Typically 1 day a week I eat almost anything I want. I stay away from really oily foods. I like to keep it very high carbohydrate, lower fat, and medium protein, and that works really well for me. Some of my favorite fibrous carbs include oatmeal, brown rice. And with respect to protein, I think just most people aren't getting enough protein. How it's going to affect your energy levels, it's probably not unless you're under eating protein, but I don't think there's a big difference between a high protein diet and a medium protein diet. Most importantly, make sure to have protein in every meal. And a general rule I have for carbohydrates is you need to earn your carbs. So the more activity you do during the day, the more carbs you can get away with eating. Like, for example, on those days when you're lifting very heavy, like leg day, then obviously you're going to be burning a whole lot more calories and you can get away with it. And I'm not a fan of interval training too much, like high intensity interval training. I do it once a week. I don't really think it's necessary. I think it's like overkill for some people. And so I personally do it, but there have been periods when I haven't been doing it and I still manage just fine doing like steady state cardio, burning like 300 to 400 calories per session. The biggest problem with high intensity interval training is that most people just don't give themselves a chance to recover. They don't eat enough afterwards. And I found that people start doing it and like they hate working out because it's the hardest thing ever when you're doing like these interval sprints and you're going back and forth. And of course, keep those workouts very short and make sure you're getting in a good recovery drink as always. And I really hope you found this information helpful. And I want to know from you, what's working well for your energy levels? What's keeping you up? Whether it's a supplement, whether it's a tweak in your diet, whether it's a biohacking device. Let me know, drop your comments. Of course, if you did get value from this video, consider subscribing, drop a like. It really helps me for the YouTube algorithm. And hey, if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon or send me a direct message on Instagram. And be sure to visit our Discord server where we have a 24/7 chat room and we're having a lot of fun. I thank you for your interest in nootropics and I will look forward to seeing you all next time.